Hey guys, how's going? It's your favorite Italian here, and today I want to show you my project, MarketDataAggregator. It's a project I've been working on in the last weeks, and today I'm ready to show you the version one. So I'm really excited. I want to start from actually the GitHub page just to show a couple of things. First of all, in the README, you can find a lot of information about the project. If you have time, I think it's interesting, starting from the overview, but going also deeper in the architecture, design, and approach I also decided to use during this project. Here I want to highlight two important sections that are the contributing. That is a section where you can actually learn how to contribute for this project, because if you want, you are more than welcome. And the MIT license. This is an open source project, so feel free to use it wherever you think it might be useful. Okay, let's go now directly to the terminal. Just to give you an overview on what we will do today, I will show you the CLI usage, and right before also really quickly also an installation and setup section. So yeah, if we go to the terminal and we try to run the application will start. But as you will see, the logging is disabled because at the moment in my machine, there are no containers running Sheila. So yeah, the application is actually still working, just the logging is disabled. In order to enable, what we can use is actually this command. You need to have installed Docker on your machine, and then you can run this command directly from the terminal. All right, so just to double check, we can actually check on Docker desktop that our container is running. I would suggest, since I'm using ShillaDB only for logging, I would suggest you to install and use DB Visualizer in order to better visualize all the logs that the application is actually producing. So set so we can run again our application, and now the logging is actually enabled. What I want to show you, first of all, two of the most useful commands are actually regarding the status. So status all is actually showing an updated version of all the status for the exchanges. So as you can see, these are already live and these are initializing. And here we have the number of instruments that are already live from these exchanges. You can actually query the system directly with the status of one exchange, for example, Binance, and you can see that Binance is still initializing. So since now the system is almost fully live, I would suggest to check the logs of the system. So we can actually reconnect the DB visualizer and then run the query. And yeah, as you can see here, we already have a lot of warning and that we can read. This is useful to keep track of what the system is doing while we are running the application. So let's jump in the second section of commands that allow us to query the system and actually to compare data from different exchanges. This section is including book, best, spread, and depth. Let's start from the first one, that is also the simplest one. These allow us to show the live order book for a particular exchange and a particular instrument. For example, book Binance, we want BTC USDT, and the depth we can specify 5. As you can see, we have the updated version of BTC USDT order book with the best 5 ask and the best 5 bids. And in the middle, we have the theoretical price, and the spread is also specified. So going to the second command, that is best, here we need to specify only the instrument like BTC USDT. And here what we can, oh, yeah, sorry, I made a mistake here, USDT. All right, here you can see the best bid and the best ask for all the exchanges. So this is even more useful in order to compare the data between exchanges. Spread is another useful command in order to compare data. And what it's doing is showing only the best price and quantity, so best ask and best bid for the instrument we specified, and we also have the relative exchange with the best ask and best bid and the spread. In this case, as you can see, the spread is negative. This means that there is the possibility to do a cross-exchange arbitrage. Of course, these data are not including all the commissions and other expenses that you might have. But at the same time, it's actually interesting to see the evolution of the prices during time and how the different exchanges actually react. All right, then we have the last one that is depth. Here we need to specify the instruments, so BTC, USDT, and the depth. What is depth is the live order book version of aggregated depth between all the exchanges. So what's happening here, this is actually also hard to read sometimes, but what's going on is like we are visualizing the best 5 ask between all the exchanges and the best 5 bits between all the exchanges. As you can see, these numbers are actually bigger than this one, but this is because the spread is negative. So we are going back to the concept we just saw before. In the last section of commands I want to show you, there are a list of commands, a bunch of commands that are useful to list or search for a particular instrument in the system. So if we type just list, we will have an aggregated view of all the possible instruments in the system that are actually 2,700. But at the same time, we can filter them for exchange. For example, Binance. Well, Binance, it's a huge one. Maybe Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase. Yeah, as you can see, there are only 502 here. If you need to search for a particular instrument, you can use the command search. And the command search allow you to filter for different types. So if you don't specify anything, what will happen is what you write will become a prefix. And here you will have a list with the instrument and all the exchanges that support and keep track of this instrument, of the relative instrument. But then you can actually filter also for contains. So as you can see, there are some that starts with BTC, but some that have BTC in their name. And also another interesting search feature is suffix, that is the opposite of prefix. So yeah. All right, then yeah, there are actually also global search pattern if you want to search for something that starts with something and then has something else. And the last commands are, well, exchanges is showing the list of available exchanges. And well, clear, as you have seen, I already used a lot during this simulation, is clearing the screen, and exit is killing the application, is closing the application. There is an interesting design behavior I implemented that is connected to the concept of resync and consistency with the data, because of course my application is receiving a lot of data, a lot of updates every second, and is also an application where you are comparing data from different exchanges. So it's really important that the data in the application are consistent. There are some mechanisms that are implemented with the synchronization of the data that are implemented in the data that are sent from the WebSocket that are regarding, for example, sequence ID or checksum on the levels that guarantees the consistency of the data. But a particular behavior I implemented is connected to the situation where the internet connection drops. So if we now go to check the status of the exchanges, we can see that are all live. What I want to show you is that if the internet connection drops in 10-20 seconds, all the status of this exchange will drop, and all the data inside this exchange will also be clear in order to not show some data that are actually not updated and stale. So let's see. Now I just dropped the connection, and in 10-20 seconds, yeah, even less, actually, as we can see, the initializing status show up. And now the status of every exchange will start again to, to build. And imagine like we are actually checking some data real time, like the spread of BTC USDT, and the connection drops. What happened is the data in like short time will not be visualized anymore. And now, since I reconnect and the internet will come back, the data will be shown again as soon as the exchange status recover. Here we go. An important requirement is this application has is regarding the connection speed that you have. As you can see here, I'm using a connection wire, but this is not mandatory. I've used this application also with a stable Wi-Fi, and it's perfectly fine. Of course, in a situation where the connection is actually not working well, the application will still work, but you will see a lot of reconnection in the status of exchanges because there are a lot of updates that needs to be done every second. And if the data that are arriving are detecting a gap between an update that they have and the one arrived, so it means that an update was missed during the connection, this will trigger a reconnection for the full exchange. Said so, another interesting aspect is regarding the performances, and I want to show you that this application is actually running with quite low amount of memory. It's taking only 180 megabytes. This is the maximum amount I've seen. So it's well, is acceptable considering that this application is keeping in memory around 4,500 instruments book. So yeah, I mean, with the size of probably a hello world in Python, we can we can have a fully working application that is taking track of a huge number of book. And that's it. I would say this is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this demonstration can be useful for some of you that wants to use this tool. And if you have any question, you can reach me out, and I will be more than happy to answer all the questions you have. See you.